Can you guess what the best and worst rides are at Islands of Adventure? Follow along and see if you agree with my ranking. There are 16 rides here, so it can be hard to do everything in one day. That's why I'm here to give you my ranking of the worst to best rides here if you are a thrill seeker and love roller coasters. Hopefully this will help you better know what rides to prioritize and which are skippable. For this ranking, I won't be including 2 rides, Pteranodon Flyers, because, well, I've never been on it. So you must be riding this with a child, and, well, I don't have one. And also, I didn't include Hogwarts Express, as you must have a park hopper ticket to experience. Alright, now for the rankings. At the bottom of our list for thrills is a surprise to no one, and it's Carousel. It's a typical carousel with some of your favorite characters from Dr. Seuss, and it's kid-friendly and guests can remain in a wheelchair throughout the ride. I personally love carousels. Walt Disney himself was a huge fan of them, and they're very nostalgic for me. So it is a must-do in my opinion, but in terms of thrilling, well, you could probably fall asleep on it if you tried hard enough. The next ride on our list is also in Seuss Landing, and it's One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish. Now this is your standard spinning flying ride that is kid-friendly and allows guests to remain in a wheelchair. I do think this ride is a bit more fun than most of these types of rides, as the ride has a song that plays different rhymes, and you must fly up and down in sync with the song to avoid getting wet from fountains. While I do love a good game, nothing else about this ride is very thrilling unless you count getting hit in the eye with water from a fish fountain thrilling. While we're in Seuss Landing, we may as well talk about the ride in 14th place, the Cat in the Hat. It's an indoor dark ride that takes you through the beloved children's book. It has a few jerky moves and turns throughout the ride, but with it being kid-friendly and slow, the thrill level is mild at best. The animatronics found in here have been called a nightmare to people, so if nightmares are thrilling to you, well, then that may change your ranking. The next ride is the last ride in Seuss Landing, and this one was pretty on par with the Cat in the Hat. The High in the Sky Seuss Trolley Train Ride is a slow-moving train ride in the air that takes guests around the tops of the buildings in Seuss Landing. The reason I placed this ride higher than Cat in the Hat is for people that have a fear of heights may not want to ride this ride. That said, it's very slow, and saying the name of the ride takes longer than actually riding it, so overall the thrill level is low, but the views are quite lovely. In 12th place is my least favorite ride of the bunch, and that's Storm Force Acceleratron. I personally don't really care for spinning flat rides where the only goal is to see if you can spin fast enough to get sick. There's also nothing really unique about the theming, but it can go faster than all the previous rides on this list, so here's where it landed. Moving on to our 11th place ride is the Flight of the Hippogriff. This family-friendly coaster is located in Hogsmeade, and obviously for a roller coaster junkie, and I'm assuming most watching this are, would find this coaster to be short, slow, and forgettable. It does have a bit more whip than I typically see on family coasters. I also love the Buckbee animatronic as a Harry Potter fan, so that gives it a bonus in my book. In 9th place, we have Popeye and Bluto's Bilge Rat Barges, one of the 3 water rides at Islands of Adventure. The style of ride is a large round raft that seats 12 people, and you go down rapids, under waterfalls, and get so wet that everyone will walk off looking as though they jumped in a pool. If you like water rides but just want to get a little wet, this is not the ride for you. This is not Splash Mountain, this is a super soaker. The sheer amount of water that hits you is the reason I find this ride a bit thrilling. It's also equally hilarious as those around you get soaked, as it is annoying at how wet you also get. There is no dry seat ever on this ride. I repeat, no dry seat. Cracking the top 10 is Skull Island Reign of Kong. This is a ride that had a lot of potential to be good, and it just isn't that good. Especially if you've been on the original ride, Kongfrontation. Now that one was awesome. Reign of Kong is a 3D simulator ride where you watch Kong battle against dinosaurs who want to eat you. They can be pretty jerky at times, and I can imagine scary for kids as the screens surround both sides of the tram. But I personally don't love simulator rides, and even so, this is one of the lower ones for me. As I'm sure you've heard before, the best part of this ride is the huge lifelike Kong animatronic at the end, so if you want to see that up close, sit on the far right side of the vehicle. Our next two rides were neck and neck, as they both are a mix of real sets and simulator, and they both are incredibly fun and what I would consider must-dos. I think Spider-Man is less thrilling of the two for two reasons. One, it doesn't cause as much, emphasis on much, motion sickness as the other, and the other one has, well, spoiler alert, spiders and scary dementors. The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man is 3D, and you will feel water and heat effects as well. This ride is very sophisticated and definitely was ahead of its time when it came to islands in 1999. So if you're up for saving New York, I highly recommend riding this ride. It's just so fun. Harry Potter and the Forbidden Journey is our 7th place ride for so many reasons. The queue is the best queue I think I've ever walked through. It's very thrilling with all the scary characters from the movies they throw at you while riding. And it's Harry Potter, for gosh sake. Now this ride really induces nausea, so be aware of that, as you're jerked around and lifted about a lot more than Spider-Man as the ride vehicle lifts you off the ground. The way the ride vehicle moves you, it would be hard for glasses to stay on your face, so it is not 3D like Spider-Man. In my opinion, you must do this ride, but make sure you haven't just eaten or have an empty stomach. In 6th place, Dudley Do-Right's Ripsaw Falls is a log flume ride themed to Dudley Do-Right, which most people nowadays have no idea who that is. The theming throughout is corny and cute, and is a perfect complement to the thrills felt by the different drops, each getting you more and more wet as you continue through the ride. The highlight of this ride is the 75-foot drop, which is an exhilarating finish to the ride, but fair warning, you will walk off drenched. The best water ride at Islands of Adventure comes in our 5th place, Jurassic Park River Adventure. You start the ride off observing non-threatening dinosaurs surrounded by lush greenery, but soon after, chaos begins as the predator dinos escape their enclosures and are out to get you. The grand finale is the boat going against a huge T-Rex that looks like it's about to eat you, and then you escape just in time by going down an 85-foot drop. This drop is one that I always feel like is steeper than I remember. Now you don't get as wet as you do from the other water rides, but scary dinosaurs? That's pretty thrilling to me. In 4th place is what feels like the shortest ride at Islands, and that's Dr. Doom's Fearfall. It's a drop tower style of attraction, but is unique in that it shoots riders up versus dropping them down. Guests will be shot 185 feet in the air, and the first few seconds is so fun and very thrilling as your stomach is in your throat. Unfortunately, after the initial slingshot up, the ride is rather tame and short. It pulses you down and it's over within a blink of an eye. I wouldn't wait too long for this ride because of that, but if you want thrills, this one gives you just that. Breaking our top 3 are some of the best rides at a theme park. I highly recommend all 3 of these if you want thrills. My number 3 and 2 are very debatable, as most people would say number 3 is more thrilling than 2 and 1, but this is my ranking and I'm here to defend my answers. So in number 3, we have the Incredible Hulk. With a launch lift hill, max speed of 67 miles per hour, and 7 inversions, it's very clear on why this ride is so thrilling. The ride is non-stop twisting and turning, and the intensity never lets up. The ride also got an upgrade in 2016 and now features intense music to mirror the thrill of the ride. The reason I didn't put this higher is because, well, it's just not as fun or as good of a ride as the other 2. The other 2 have way better theming and more memorable moments, and I also prefer speed, immersion, and airtime over inversions, and overall I think 2nd and 1st place are just better rides. Okay, in 2nd place is the most popular ride in all of Universal Studios, Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. This ride is one of my favorite rides I've ever been on, and it is truly a masterpiece. The theming is top-notch, there are 7 launches, It's more approachable to more people because there aren't any inversions, yet it's incredibly fun with the backwards section and the surprise track drop. The ride vehicle also adds to the fun, especially if you sit in the motorbike. Experiencing the launches and the twists and turns all while riding a bike makes this ride unique and memorable, which roller coasters fans will love. It is 100% worth the crazy wait, so go ahead and get in line now. It's time for our first place winner for the best ride in Islands of Adventure, and that is the newest ride, Velocicoaster. Wow, just wow. This ride is in my top 5 favorite roller coasters of all time. It is flawless and one that I could ride over and over and not get sick of. I would recommend riding it in the front and back if possible, as they provide totally different yet amazing experiences. This ride has 4 spectacular inversions, one that flips you on your head over what feels like inches from the water, a 155-foot top hat, a max speed of 70 miles per hour, and 2 high-speed launches. The ride is incredibly zippy yet smooth, thrilling yet fun, and you cannot leave Islands of Adventure without riding this ride at least once during the day and once during the night. Well, that does it for my ranking of the best rides in Islands of Adventure for thrill seekers. Let me know in the comments what your favorite rides are at this park and if you agree with this ranking. I've been Kate from Vacay in One Day. Thank you so much for following along. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!